metals and other Saudi exports.
We have managed with a lot of effort and hard work from our teams from Kenya and Saudi Arabia to put together a very sizable business delegation, investment mission and trade mission to look at ways how we can improve the investment and economic partnership between Kenya and Saudi Arabia. 6 months ago, I went to Saudi Arabia for the first time as a minister, but certainly not for the first time. And over the last 6 months, we've made tremendous progress in terms of crafting what is going to be a very mutually beneficial partnership between Kenya and Saudi Arabia. And in fact, this is a stepping stone for partnership between the GCC, the East African Community, and the 54 countries that make the African Continental Free Trade Area of 1.3 billion people. In the past, there was this belief that Africa is just a basket case. And I think even for those of you who have come to Kenya or Africa for the first time, I was with you last night at the airport, and you could see the energy and the numbers and the people from all nationalities, because the whole world is waking up to realize that Africa is the last frontier. As we speak today, I am supposed to be at another hotel co-chairing a meeting of trade ministers from Africa. 54 of them, they are now 53 because I'm here, from the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, who are in Nairobi for the second time in under 1 month. So when we are in Kenya, it is not just about Kenya. It is Kenya being a gateway for the rest of Africa. 54 countries, 1.3 billion people, a very growing economy. Today, if Africa was one country or one economy, we could certainly be somewhere around number 8 or to 10 in the G20, way above Saudi Arabia and way above other countries. And so when we are here at the same time, when we have got 54 ministers of trade for Africa meeting at the same time, is a direction of how should you as Saudi businesses look at Kenya. Do not look at Kenya as just Kenya is one country. Look at Kenya as an important gateway, a landing spot from which we can be able to grow partnership between Kenya and Saudi Arabia, and indeed as a south-to-south relationship. I hope that tomorrow we have organized a dinner, a very interesting dinner. Why is it interesting? It is interesting because we are inviting all of you before you go back to Saudi Arabia to meet all these trade ministers of Africa, and so that you can be able to see for yourself the potential of Kenya as an entry point for the rest of Africa. But even beyond that, a similar number of delegation and my counterpart minister from Indonesia who are here on a similar mission. And for me, I'm looking forward to that dinner tomorrow because it is 2 members of G20, Saudi Arabia and Indonesia, having dinner with ministers of trade from Africa. For me, that is the dream. That is the last thing I want to do in life. If I can be able to craft a partnership between south to south, Kenya, Africa, Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, and all the other countries of the global south, so that we can be able to face the challenges and the opportunities we have together. So in this journey, Saudi Arabia for us is a very priority relationship, very growing relationship. We already have very good relations with some of you businesses 60% of our fertilizers, and Kenya is an agricultural country, come from one of the companies that are here. Maybe they can start up, they know themselves. Yeah, where are they? Mr. Otieno. I even gave him a Kenyan name. He's called Mr. Otieno. Yeah, Mahad Company, you know, who account for 60% of our fertilizer. We are now having a government-to-government partnership. You can sit down, Mr. Otieno. We have now a partnership with Saudi Aramco. I think Saudi Aramco is in the room as well. I don't know if Saudi Aramco is here. Saudi Aramco is right here. Sorry, you have to bear with us for the small room, because compared with the size of Aramco, the room is very small. But now we have got a government-to-government relationship with Aramco for supply of oil fuel on a deferred mode, a very innovative product. Today we've had a very good discussion with the government financial institution from Saudi Arabia, both the Saudi Fund for Development and Exim Bank, to see how we can be able now to even make better that relationship we have with Aramco using Saudi's own financial institutions. There's another company here, El Marai. Where is El Marai? El Marai is yes. 2,400 Kenyans. Actually, 2,480. We always compare notes. Kenyans work for Al Marai. So the next time we take milk, milk in Saudi Arabia, most likely the person who has handled the milk is a Kenyan. So there is a Kenyan in your house, even if you don't know. And I can go on and on and on about very strong partnership for some of the companies who have a very good experience. Now we want to take it forward. I was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we had, Your Excellency, a very successful event where we created the first new export from Kenya to Saudi Arabia. One single day, we exported products worth $12 million in 10 minutes. When we had the regional voluntary credit markets, PIF company, which had the second voluntary carbon credit auction here in Nairobi, in the same hotel that you'll be having dinner tonight and tomorrow night. And most of them were here. Let me recognize those who are here. I think Aramco, you are there. So where is SEC, Saudi Electric Company? Oh, you are here. Thank you very much. SNB were there. Is SNB here? Yes, we were together at least. Sabico was there. Who else was there? I think Aqua Power was there, yes. Yeah? Aqua, you were there. I think other companies which are not there. Saudi Airlines, the CEO himself, he was there. Al-Ola. Very successful event, which also created a new partnership which we want to take forward on the area of the export of carbon credits. Kenya, for your information, our energy is 92% green. I will not embarrass you by asking how much of your energy is green. So, but because of this partnership, we can craft a very good way forward between Kenya and Saudi Arabia. We did sign an MOU between Kenya Development Corporation, represented by one of its investee companies, and RVCM, which is a PIF company, to continue providing a link for Saudi companies to achieve their net zero ambitions using this platform. And it is one that I'm extremely very proud of, and that we are pushing very hard. So let me say this, that as government of Kenya, we are open for business and we are open for investors. And we are going to do, myself and the government and the president, whom we are going to meet in the course of your visit, to send this message that when you come to Kenya, the doors are open, your investments are very safe. We now have got, are working on all the relevant protocols and agreements between our two governments to ensure that we can be able to take this relationship forward. Our Cabinet Secretary for Labour, who is going to tell you more, will give you the numbers that we are working on as our targets for not just domestic workers and the workers that we are been talking about, but real skilled workers a partnership between your companies and our learning institutions, so that you can be able to use Kenya as a back office for your businesses to work on. So before I invite my colleague, let me just say this. Some 24 years ago, I came to Saudi Arabia for a 1-year contract, to work for 1-year contract with a Rajhi Bank. And I ended up working there for 10 years. I had actually even refused because I was headhunted from Standard Chartered Bank, as you know, is one of the leading banks where I was working here in Nairobi. And I was coming for a 1-year contract. And I ended up, I was a single man, I was a bachelor. And my firstborn son was born at Saudi German Hospital in Riyadh. So, and when my son was born, we got an award from Saudi German Hospital because he was the heaviest child. It was a record for Mustashfa Saudi Arabia, 5.5 kg, and I really want to know, I am very sure that this record has not been broken, and I want to make another record because I've just promised my counterpart, Khalid and Falih, that 2 days every month I will be working from his office, personally, myself. 2 days every month to meet all of you individually, to take forward your project, your investment initiatives, and to make sure, because I like to be pragmatic and to be very hands-on. I'm not very good in literature and theories, but if it comes to practical way of solving problems, of ensuring that we really deepen this relationship. So if you see me here within the next today, tomorrow, that's fine. If you don't get an opportunity, wait for me in my August visit or September visit or November or December. Every month, I will dedicate 2 days to working in Riyadh from the Office of the Minister of Investment to ensure that every other initiative that we start, we solve it. But that is not enough. I hope to hear from my brother Khalid and Falih that also he's going to work in Kenya for another 2 days.
The reason we're here in such quick response to the invitation of the Honorable President, Dr. William Ruto. Within a few days, we got the invitation. We forwarded it to our leadership, and within hours, we were directed by His Majesty King Salman and His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman to assemble and show up to meet the request of the President without delays. I can tell you that some of the visits will be undertaken to some G20 countries in the next few weeks and months have been outstanding for years. We're trying to schedule them, but this is an invitation that clearly our leadership wanted us to give the highest priority. And we know that the Honorable President this week is hosting an African summit. Other heads of state are here, but he was keen to see the Saudi delegation, particularly from the private sector, here and to have an audience with them, which we hope will be later on this evening, to come up this week, and we responded so positively. I am delighted that our delegation canceled their plans. Many of them interrupted business trips or vacations to be here, because we've been eagerly awaiting to come to Kenya. We are in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia believers. In Africa, we are certainly believers in Kenya as a bastion of stability and a hub for Eastern Africa. We believe in the political system you have and its stability, the economic stability we have, and we believe that Kenya can be a great gateway to Eastern Africa and indeed to Central Africa through the economic partnerships that some of them exist today and many of them will be initiated in the discussions we are undertaking during this visit.